I've been saying this since we've started talking about online remote learning or distance learning. Design for interaction. You don't want the teacher to be just lecturing to both online and on-site students. Matutulog yung mga online students nyo. They will sleep. They will sleep on you, right? Or even your face-to-face, your on-site students. They might sleep on you also kahit nasa harap mo sila. So what do we need to do? We have learned already for the past year that there are three main modes of interaction. That when you design for interaction, you can have student to teacher interaction, student to students interaction, student to content. All of these interactions are meant to make learning activities active learning experiences. Okay, but how does this look like in a hybrid or HyFlex learning setup? A student-to-teacher interaction for both on-site and online students, it's possible that they are simultaneously listening to the teacher's lecture, discussion, or feedback giving. So the usual thing that you see, teacher in front, teacher speaking to the on-site and online students simultaneously. What's your technology tool here? It's simply your video conferencing app. You have a camera, you have a computer, broadcasting all of the discussion by the teacher to both set of students, online and offline or on-site. Okay? Now, what about the other ways of interaction? We also have student-to-student interaction. So for on-site students, this could mean group work or group sharing while observing social distancing. This could be a pair work, dyad work, triad work, group work, or whatever. But remember, we are moving, and one of those guidelines is actually social distancing. Diba? So how do we then ensure that our students are following social distancing? Dapat may rules tayo. Diba, akala natin babalik na tayo sa classroom, tuwang-tuwa na, meron tang social interaction, limited pa rin in terms of distance. Paano yung online student if we want to have student-to-student interaction? It's not something new. We have been using breakout rooms before. So you should have a video conferencing tool or app that allows for breakout rooms. Okay? What if, alimbawa, teacher is so daring, gusto niya combine. He wants the online students to interact with their on-site classmates. That's not a problem. You can always create an online breakout rooms. Make sure that your on-site students use earphones to avoid feedback and feedback. Right? So what would happen here? There is an assumption here that our students will bring their own devices at home. Why is this very, very important? Hybrid or HyFlex learning is very much dependent on the use of technology. So the question is, some of you are asking, should we be allowing our students to bring their own devices in school, device ownership? Yes, it's possible. You can actually let your students bring. Before the pandemic, a lot of schools are actually asking their students to bring their devices to school. We have one-to-one programs, one-to-one iPad, one-to-one Chromebook. They bring their own laptops, bring your own devices. So it's possible. However, because you have on-site students working on devices and you want them to go interact with their classmates online on their own, you might want to have earphones to avoid feedback. It's also possible for students to interact with their classmates through the use of collaborative apps. It's possible also to let your students interact with the content on their own, or maybe with the teacher on the side as facilitator. So student-to-content interaction for on-site and online students, they can access learning resources, materials, or learn online activities via an LMS or other online platform. For example, in Schoology, you can actually put all your learning resources there, whether it's video, whether it's a reading in PDF, or whatever kind of learning materials, a podcast. It's possible. That's student-to-content interaction. However, when you do student-to-content interaction, make sure that you have a way of checking if the students really read, watch, or listen to the learning material. So you can have a formative assessment, a checking for understanding activity after watching a video, especially if the student-to-content interaction is done independently. Now, what if it's the teacher on site showing learning resources? Teacher resource shares can also share their learning resources via screen share. And students can do all of this independently. So if you've noticed, if you want engagement, if you want interaction to be alive in your classroom, please do not settle with student-teacher interaction. There is this notion that when we go back to the classroom, we again see the teacher in front of the class, teaching everyone. But here's the thing. Most of the time, the pitfall is student to teacher interaction often falls into teacher lecture. But that's not the case. We've already came from online learning where we took advantage of different interaction or tools that enable students to study independently on their own with us facilitating. So I hope that when we go back to the classroom, we don't go back to our old style of lecturing everything. We need to make sure that when we design lessons, we design for social interaction. Student-to-student interaction needs to be emphasized and deeply integrated to promote collaborative learning.